Welcome back to NCC News. Another day has passed and still no plane has been found.
It's been more than 2 weeks since Malaysian Airlines Flight 370 disappeared off radar, and families of the passengers are starting to lose patience with the Malaysian government. Gathered around the embassy in Beijing today, and police needed to keep them from entering the building. Many family members are upset about Malaysia Airlines' conclusion yesterday that the plane crashed in the Indian Ocean.
They even get no evidence that the flight was crashed, and they said that, oh, it is over. And they said that no one is survived.
Today, because of bad weather, it will continue as soon as possible. And there's now another missing airplane, this one in the United States. The FAA and NTSB are looking for a small plane that they believe crashed off the coast of Georgia. They've also called in the Coast Guard to look for the plane and the 2 people on board. The flight was on a planned route to Jacksonville, Florida, when it crashed Monday night. Meanwhile, in Washington state, the search for survivors of a mudslide enters day 4 today. At least 14 people have died, and the death toll is expected to rise. Nearly 200 people are still unaccounted for, and several homes have been destroyed. For rescue workers, it's a very difficult task to try to pull survivors out of the rubble.
One of the responders out there said, when we do find a void space, like a house where it's been smashed up, he explained it. He says it's very tough to even search those buildings.
The landslide happened Saturday morning in Darrington, a town of about 1,000 people 55 miles northeast of Seattle.
The prosecution for the Oscar Pistorius murder trial rested its case today. The South African Olympic runner is accused of murdering his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp. Recently, the trial has been highlighted by text messages between the two, which were read aloud in court. The trial will take a few days off, but the defense is scheduled to begin its arguments on Friday. 4 men are in trouble after getting a little too close to the Manhattan skyline. The NYPD arrested 3 of them for base jumping off of the New World Trade Center, while another friend acted as a lookout on the street. Just last week, a 16-year-old from New Jersey snapped a photo of himself at the top of the tower after sneaking past building security.
Investigators are still trying to figure out what happened last night that led to a shooting at a Virginia naval station. It happened at around 11 p.m. on the USS Mahan. The shooter and 1 sailor were killed and no other injuries were suffered. The naval station Norfolk was briefly locked down after the shooting, but that restriction has been lifted. And in Egypt, mass trials that could result in mass executions continue. Protesters gathered today as a judge said he'll issue verdicts next month for nearly 700 suspected Islamists on murder and attempted murder charges. This comes just a day after he death sentenced more than 500 other people, most of whom are members of the Muslim Brotherhood and weren't present at the trial. Several defense attorneys have also boycotted the proceedings, which have been heavily criticized around the world.
The cleanup in the Gulf Coast of Mexico continues today. The Coast Guard says the Houston Ship Channel has reopened today after the oil spill last Saturday. Officials said the waterway had been cleared enough to let some traffic through, but cleanup continues. As much as 170,000 gallons of crude oil was spilled. The spill comes at a particularly bad time because many animals have started migrating to the area. The spill in Texas serves as a reminder of the Exxon Valdez disaster. Today marks the 25th anniversary of the 11 million gallon spill that happened after the Exxon Valdez oil tanker crashed into a reef in Alaska. It was the largest oil spill in American history, and the cleanup cost billions of dollars. Several 100,000 animals also died as a result.
Is it time to sell your home? Well, I'm no real estate agent, but property values are on the rise. The prices of single-family homes rose and beat expectations in January, and since 2012, house prices are up nationwide 23%.